morning on this chilly and wet Wednesday. I'm Jerry Human for Julie and Beth. Meteorologist Maureen McCann tracking those cold temperatures for us, and Jacqueline Harold in for me. She's looking at that wet commute in just a moment. But first, we start your top stories in 90 seconds with a live look on the beach. Snow on the beach. This is Pensacola, Florida, courtesy of EarthCam. And yeah, those are jet skis there with the snow. I don't think you'll be riding them out in the water right now. Snow impacting travel in Florida from the roads to the skies. The Jacksonville airport is closed. It's expected to reopen at noon today. Maureen's going to have more on the record-breaking snowfall in just a moment. And while snow isn't on the roads here in Central Florida, it's still cold and wet out. Make sure to grab a warm cup of coffee before you head out the door. And if you know someone that needs a place to stay during this cold weather, there are some shelters listed right now on your screen. You can also find a full list in the Spectrum News app. Other news now, the Ocala City Council unanimously voted to terminate their contract with Sky Elements exactly 1 month after this, a mishap during a holiday drone show at Lake Eola in Orlando. That injured a boy and sent him to the hospital. The National Transportation Safety Board is still investigating. The big talk, of course, that snow in North Florida. And Maureen, we've been just warm enough, still pretty cold, but warm enough to avoid any of the white stuff.
Yeah, nothing more than maybe some sleet having mixed in earlier in Marion County, but now the rain is winding down, so we are going to be getting back to drier conditions eventually. But we've been looking at these pictures from around the southeast and around Florida. I don't know if we have another EarthCam that we're going to show. Yep, this is Pensacola again, just to see that the skies have cleared out. There's no snow falling on top of that 6 to 8 inches that occurred over the western panhandle in the last 24 hours. For us, rain this morning, a chilly afternoon. We'll get into the forecast more at 8:11. Jacqueline Harold is back right now. These slick conditions making for a very slow morning drive.
Yeah, on top of that usual congestion too, we're seeing quite a bit of slowdowns here. This is a look at I-95. The camera's facing south, but it's those northbound lanes that you really want to pay attention to. We have a crash here. It looks like traffic is really only getting over in either a right lane or a shoulder there, so you definitely want to add some extra time to that morning commute. And we're seeing those slowdowns all over the real-time traffic map, specifically in that downtown area and in the Champions Gate area. As you can see, that red indicating some stop and go conditions. I'm going to take you more county by county, show you some of those other slowdowns, a few crashes that we're watching in the next 10 minutes. This report brought to you by our Central Florida Hyundai dealers.
Jackie, thanks. Happening right now. Snow on the ground all across the south, even coating the streets of Florida. Here's a look at some of the images we're seeing across our area. Top left is Pensacola Bay. Snowy conditions with police blocking the roadway. Snowy roads in Jackson County, Florida, near the Alabama state line. The other parts of the south calling it a snow day. Bottom left shot is an image there in Virginia Beach, and take an icy look at some of the other conditions in New Orleans. Now let's take you to Tallahassee live with Jason Lanning. He's checking on conditions near the Capitol.
We are starting the day here in Midway, Florida at a frigid 25 degrees, surrounded, which you can plainly see, by a rare winter wonderland. The snow started falling here just after 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon. It snowed all night long, leaving behind frozen cars, frozen roads, but also some very special memories. It's cold, it's fluffy, it's white, and it isn't supposed to be falling here. Chris, would you rather drive in a hurricane or a snowstorm?
Think a hurricane, maybe.
This is Florida today. An overnight winter storm brought 3 to 4 inches of snow to the Tallahassee area. The impacts have not been pleasant, but they sure have been memorable. You got to be getting cold. Come on, be honest. You're not cold. Come on, you're lying. That's 12-year-old Kathan Gray. He and his 14-year-old sister Cecilia spent the night building a snowman outside their hotel. Their dad Jay drove them here from Newport Richey as part of a late Christmas present, a promise that they'd see snow this year for the very first time.
When we told them that we were going to get a chance to see snow, they were ecstatic, to the point to where was a long car drive because they were just so hyped up from it.
If we're being honest, Jay was a little excited too. He's 37 and grew up in Tampa, never seeing snow himself. On his hands and knees with his kids in the Florida powder, a childhood dream was alive and well for all of them in this extremely rare, fleeting moment.
Is the cold snow, is it kind of seeping through your gloves yet, or is it pretty cool still?
Oh, mine's soaked, but I'm having too much fun to care.
Yeah. The snow will begin melting in the Panhandle later today, but the one thing the Florida heat can't take away is an incredible weather event that will never be erased for those that witnessed it.
And the folks here in the Panhandle, you can see, are out even without jackets, just taking a quick peek at this very rare weather event. All fun aside, though, travel today expected to be very challenging, at least through lunchtime. With schools and some businesses closed, the state still urging residents here to stay off area roads until temperatures rise above freezing and some of this ice and snow can begin melting off local roadways. We're live in Midway this morning. Jason Lanning, Spectrum News.
Yeah, fun to look at, fun to play in, not fun to drive. And Jason, thanks so much. The cold weather impacting us here in Central Florida. We don't even need the snow for it to have some impacts here. Parents, if you have a child in school, make sure to double check their dismissal schedule. Marion County Public Schools has canceled all outdoor after school activities for today and tomorrow. No word yet on other Central Florida schools and their dismissal schedules, but we'll keep you updated as soon as we receive it. Around Central Florida, cold weather shelters and warming centers are open to give those who need a warm place to stay during this cold weather. In Marion County, the Emergency Management Division and Sheriff's Office will be working alongside the Salvation Army to make sure those in need are safe and warm. A shelter opening at the Center of Hope off of First Avenue in Ocala. Now, the cold weather alert in effect for much of our viewing area. That includes Orange and Volusia counties, where Matthews Hope is opening shelters in Orange, and the Halifax Urban Ministries opening shelters in East Volusia. For a full list, you can visit our website, mynews13.com. Clearly, we Floridians do not experience this often. You can count on us to keep you updated on these winter conditions as well as normal Florida downpours and whatever Mother Nature brings our way. Our weather team would also love to see your weather photos. You can send them over through the Spectrum News app and keep up to date on everything you need to know while we experience these cold temperatures. Yeah, it's that chilly start to the morning. Another live look at some of the conditions we're dealing with here in the south. We're getting reports that MCO is experiencing some delays. According to FlightAware, a total of 30 flights have been canceled out of Orlando International, so make sure you're checking with your carrier. We're going to send it over to certified meteorologist Maureen McCann. She's tracking the conditions and a lot of that wet precipitation and snow moving out of Florida.
Yeah, this is a 6-hour loop, so it shows what we experienced overnight with several hours of that cold rain. A little bit of the enhancement to show some wintry precip for a brief period of time in and around Ocala. It didn't last long, and it's back to rain in eastern Marion County now. The conditions are expected to be chilly all day long, but we'll see when the rain winds down. Coming up with your weather on the ones, and we'll look at what's happening out on the roads into the 8 o'clock hour. Jacqueline Harold.
Yeah, still seeing that rain in some areas, those slick conditions, some crashes and some slowdowns as a result of it. This is a look at I-95. We've been watching this crash for a little while. Traffic slowly moving through, causing for a headache if you're heading out. But I'll show you some other county by county conditions after this break, those slowdowns that you might want to know about.